I've been waiting for this day since I got back into blading. So these are the Wizard NR100 frames with mushroom blading 100mm wheels on a Seba CJ boot. So when I got back into blading, there were really two different videos that I was seeing on YouTube. One was old stuff that kept popping up in my feed from 5-10 years ago of aggressive skating. And the other was the mushroom blading channel, where Joey and Todd and sometimes some friends would skate around on these bad boys. And I always wanted to try them, but they were really hard to get and fairly expensive, and I really couldn't justify them. So the promise of the Wizard setup is that with the big 4x100 wheels, you'll have a really nice, smooth flow, kind of like skiing, I guess. But because of the unique rocker, it won't feel like 4x100. As you can imagine, this wheelbase is really long. I mean, that's got to be 300 or so from wheel 1 to 4. But because of the way that it's rockered, these two wheels are lower than this wheel. And this wheel is kind of in a different line as well. So when you're skating, it's got almost 3 wheels touching at the same time feeling. And what that means is that it's much easier for you to turn, much easier for you to skate, but you still get that coasting and that stability of having 4 wheels. Anyway, I'm extremely excited to try them out. I've tried out the K2R100, and I really liked those frames, but they felt really long. These are a bit shorter than the K2R100, and they're designed for what I want to do. They're designed for this 4x100 setup. So I'm really curious to see how they're going to go. I'm going to skate them around in the neighborhood real quick and see if I can get some first impressions. And then hopefully next weekend I'll take them out to do a little bit of urban. All right, so these are the mushroom blading 100mm undercover wheels, and I have them on the CJ carbon without the sole plate, so it's straight on the carbon. And I'm riding with some 50/50 ABEC 9 bearings. These things feel great. They really feel great. Just for skating, the coastability of a 4x100 is amazing. I mean, you can see right now I'm not really going downhill much, but I'm just floating. Yeah, they feel great. The wheelbase, it does feel a bit shorter than the R100, I think. It's really hard to tell though. They still feel long. Like, there's this thing that I like to do when I'm skating, where I lift up my heel a little bit. When I skate, just a little, I don't know, just a little nervous fidget. I can't do that with these. I could do those with 270s or 250s, but it's a little long for this. It does feel like I'm, just on a straight line. Kind of like how I'd imagine a ski would be. I don't ski, so I don't know for sure, but this is what I imagine a ski would be like. But on that straight line, it feels great. Super responsive, able to turn easily, no problems there. The ride is nice and smooth. So one thing that I struggled a little bit with the K2R100 was the length of the frame for crossovers, and I'm still getting that. They're just long frames. I mean, that's fine, but I do a lot of crossovers. It really means that I have to change my skating style in order to ride longer frames. Again, I don't know that that's a bad thing. I change my skating style when I do my trail skates. But the question for me is always, where do these big wheels fit into my skating style, They're not for grinds, they're not for distance, so they're in that middle, which I don't really skate that much. 4x100 goes fast. So these streets are newly paved. You really can't get a better, smoother surface. And that little hill, man, it was fun. Landing little gaps and stuff with these feels pretty solid. If I could say, much more solid than the 4x80s that I had with the Kaiser Arrows. The wheelbase being longer means there's a little bit more room for me to land. I'm a size 10.5. I think this is a size 10 Seba. So I need a little bit more wheelbase. If my foot is 28.5 centimeters long, the 24.3 that I get with a Kaiser Arrow or similar 80 millimeter wheels just isn't enough for me. I need something a little longer. Doesn't feel like I'm that much higher. I'm definitely taller. I'm used to skating, my 56 millimeter wheels on them skates. Because there's no sole plate for these Sebas, it feels lower than it should. I don't think that sole plate is much more than, 6, maybe 8 millimeters. But it makes a difference. I definitely feel more responsive, more like, more like just standard skates. I don't feel like I'm on platform shoes or anything like that, which I would say is a similar feeling that I had with the R100, but I feel as though the R100 was a little taller, maybe just because I had to rocker them, whereas this has that natural rocker already built in. It's a much cleaner system. One thing that I can say is that they feel really stable. Like, I feel confident going backwards, doing airs, things like that. I don't have any issues, and I think that has to do with the rocker. Before with the R100s, I was banana rockered, which means that primarily the middle two wheels hit the ground. Here, it's that natural rocker, so I'm kind of teetering between the last three and the first three, and that makes a big difference. I feel very stable on these skates. I'm not able to do any of the Wizard stuff yet. I haven't tried, the gazelles and lions and stuff. I'll do that another time, but I'm going to try some slides. Too fast. All right, still got a long ways to go until I feel comfortable with the slides, but I can slide. These things feel pretty fun. Like all of the fun that I had in the R100, I feel is back. Very similar feeling. They're much more solid, and I feel like the natural rocker brings out a lot more stability than just riding banana rocker on some R100s. It also feels much lower. I don't know if that's just in my head. I would have to check, but you know, using the banana rocker, I definitely am rockering those middle wheels down. I don't know if it's a 6 mil or what, but I'm going to gain a little bit of height by rockering down, so I don't have any such problem on these. Yeah, all in all, I like the first impression. Again, I'm skating on a $450 boot with a $400 frame and like $100 worth of wheels and bearings, maybe even more. And that might not be for everyone. I think that these frames are definitely a niche. The question for me is, where's that niche? And do I see myself in it? Thanks for watching. See you next week.